I'm changing sides. I'm changing sides to Warrior Goddess. Who's your little Autobot?
Oh, you're cute.
Name's Wheelie. Yeah. Say my name. Say my name.
What happened?
Transformers 2, or Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, turned 10 years old today on June 24th, and it's pretty bad. And yet, it is somehow not the worst one out of the main 5. But despite how terrible this movie is, little 7-year-old me ate this movie up back in 2009. Unlike the first Transformers movie, I actually remember seeing this movie for the first time and absolutely loving it. But it wasn't till I got older to where I started slowly disliking it. But before we start talking about the movie, you already know you gotta talk about that good old merchandise. This is gonna be fun. Okay, before I actually get to this type of stuff, for posters, I got this Optimus Prime one, and it dates back to 2011 and 10. Did I say poster? I meant to say calendar, but yeah, I got that. And I also have a Bumblebee poster that I found in like a book sometime, but yeah, that's about it for like that type of stuff. So yeah, I have way more Revenge of the Fallen toys than I did for the first movie, so I'm gonna go a little bit quicker than I did for the first movie, because if I did it like I did what I did for the last movie, this is gonna take way too long, so I'll catch you back in a bit. Okay, let's get this over with. Rampage, for some reason he's yellow, don't like him. This Battle Blades Bumblebee, I actually really like this Bumblebee, it looks pretty cool actually. This weird like camo like Ironhide, and it looks pretty cool, but for some reason he has like camo on him, but I don't know, I really don't care, it looks pretty cool. Soundwave, oh, there he goes. Sideways, who's missing an arm and I couldn't find it. I was looking for it for an hour and I just couldn't find the other arm for Sideways, but there you go, I had him. Ratchet, whose arm is broken off, but I still have it, I found it, but it's definitely broken, but yeah, this is Ratchet. Sideswipe, who's missing his leg, and yeah, a lot of these are broken, but to be honest, I'm not too bad about it. I'm not too mad about it because I got a lot of them replaced. Like, I got the Dark of the Moon Sideways and the Studio Series Sideways, so it's like, some of these characters that did break, I'm not too mad about, because I did replace them over time, but yeah, this was Sideswipe. Demolisher, who's pretty small for a Voyager, so he's trash. Then we have Swerve, who's also missing a leg, but for some reason, he's not in the movie at all. He's just a repaint of Sideswipe. They're literally the exact same mold with a different head, but he looks kind of cool. I like Sideswipe more, but yeah, I don't even know why I have this. I don't remember seeing him in any type of Transformers media besides this toy, so. Then we have this other one called like Stratosphere. He's missing both of his legs because they both broke off, but he's not in the movie either, but like, he looks kind of cool. I remember not liking him that much because he's really lanky, but yeah, this is Stratosphere, so. One of the RC twins, which is Crimea, and I remember hating this figure as a child, and I still hate it now. This thing sucks. I have a one-step changer Jolt for some reason. I think they did make an actual figure Jolt, but he's so irrelevant to the point it's like, why even get that? They made a one-step changer of him. Then we have AIDS and STD. Now we get to some of my babies, alright? These I will treasure forever if they don't break on me. We have, how far back am I? Leader Class Jetfire, which is really dope. I have a lot of leader classes, but this is Jetfire. I know they made a new Studio Series one, so I'm gonna get that one soon. But then we have leader class Megatron, which, wow, I'm gonna have to put him all the way in the back. We have leader class Megatron, and it looks okay now, but I remember back then I was like super excited to get this one. But yeah, this one's pretty dope. I like this one too. My absolute favorite one out of all of them by far is leader class Optimus Prime. This one is, man, I love this. I think this is probably my favorite Transformer of all time. Like, I love this thing. He is kind of squatting over because that's how I had him displayed, but this thing is dope. I'm sorry, this camera angle, but yeah, that's leader class Optimus Prime. Love this thing. I remember playing with this thing for hours. It's such a good figure, man. That's it. Those are all of my Revenge of the Fallen toys. I went way quicker because if I would have did one by one, like transforming them all that, it would take forever. And yeah. Can't wait to put them back. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to show you that I have Devastator, like the leader class mainline Devastator. I didn't feel like bringing it down because it's way too big, but like you can see him here. Like, it's a stupid looking toy, but it looks stupid in the movie, so yeah.
Now let's go talk about the Transformers 2 video game. So I got this game recently at like a GameStop for about $12, and let me tell you, it's barely worth like $2. This game is so repetitive it hurts. It's just spawn in the world, shoot Decepticons for about a few minutes, and that's it, mission complete. The only thing that made this game somewhat enjoyable was hearing Shia LaBeouf be extremely Shia LaBeouf in a few levels, and it is hilarious.
Remember Agent Simmons? Yeah, okay. Now he works at his mom's deli. It's a big step down, I know, but he may be the only guy who knows what the Decepticons want from me, so I gotta go see him. A space bridge? No, I don't know anything about that. I usually take coach, but I just don't know. I'll do it, I just don't know why. You know, why Egypt? That's the big question.
Alright, now let's talk about this dumpster fire. Okay, before I rip this movie to shreds, let's talk about some positives, because there are some things in this movie that's like really good. Let's get the no-brainer covered first, and that is by far the forest scene. This scene is probably the best scene in the entire series. It's just about 5 minutes of raw action between Optimus Prime and Megatron, and it's great. It doesn't cut away from the action too much, it was completely filmed in IMAX, and it really shows how great this movie could have been. Like, even the lead up to the forest scene is awesome. If anything, I honestly recommend just watching this scene if you haven't seen the movie at all. It's that good. Other than that, I'm glad they fixed Starscream's personality because he actually gives off a vibe that he's a coward this time, unlike he did in the first movie. Any scene with Sideswipe, which was like one scene, I think, was pretty cool, I guess. Yeah, that's it. Okay, here we go. Let's get into the negatives. Surely it cannot be that bad. Oh my god! The story. This story is nonsense, and it baffles me that this even got greenlit. It's essentially just the first movie's story, just with more confusing mumbo-jumbo added to it. Now, this movie does have a slight excuse, because in 2008, back when the movie was being made and filmed, there was a writer's strike happening which prevented this movie from having a script. So they shot the entire movie without a script and just tried to piece the movie together as they were making it. But trust me, after watching Age of Extinction and The Last Night, I feel like this movie wouldn't have changed at all with or without a script. The main problem with this movie's story is that it just has moments in it to make you scratch your head and say, what? Like, why can only a Prime defeat the Fallen? Even as a kid, I found this very confusing. Like, you're telling me that Ironhide can't defeat the Fallen because he doesn't have a Prime title in his name? Okay, so Megatron can't defeat the Fallen, even though he was destroying Optimus Prime in the first one, and manages to kill him in this one. But he dies to a puny human in the first one? Like, what? That literally just makes no sense. Okay, also, why does the Fallen just want to blow up the sun? Like, what is he gaining from this? It's so stupid, it just makes me laugh. But what's even funnier is the fact that once he blows up the sun, everyone thinks the Earth will be nighttime forever. Like...
Planet will be dark forever.
Oh God, this is it. The pyramid's built right over the machine. They turn that machine on. No more sun.
What?
Okay, the blast from the sun would destroy our whole solar system. Okay, even if the sun doesn't explode, let's say it just shrivels up once Fallen's stupid laser hits it, the Earth would freeze and crumble into tiny pieces or something. I'm currently 16, and I know what would happen compared to these stupid 40-year-olds working in charge of this movie. Why are you gonna kill Optimus Prime in the second movie? Like, I get they're trying to call back to the original 80s Transformers when he died in that one thanks to this idiot.
No, you don't, Megatron! Out of the way, Hot Rod!
But like, come on, even 7-year-old me knew Optimus wasn't going to stay dead in the second movie of a blockbuster franchise. This movie even has plot holes within itself sometimes. Like, there's this one scene where the main human cast needs to go talk to a Decepticon to get information out of them.
Before that. Correct. Well then report. Unless we can talk to a Decepticon. I mean, I'm not on speaking terms with...
And so they go to this museum to where they can find the Decepticon, and as soon as they find him, Megan Fox is all like...
It's a Decepticon!
Decepticon! Find him right now!
So you're telling me that you took this whole trip to find a Decepticon, and yet you're surprised that you found a Decepticon? What? Jesus Christ, there's still more to talk about in this movie. The acting. Now, the acting in this movie is just kind of weird. Like, sometimes it's solid, sometimes it's bad, and then there are just times where it's just weird.
Break down the elemental components of energy, assume a constant K rate, extrapolate reach of
The characters. We'll start with the humans first just to get them out of the way. Sam Willy Wonka is pretty much the same as he was in the last movie, but now his character's in college instead of high school, except whenever he touched the cube he goes sicko mode sometimes. Michaela still has nothing to do in this movie besides be hot, so Simmons is in this movie for some reason. Like, he honestly has no reason to be here. Why is he here? Lennox and Epps are back and they did just as much as they did in the last one, which was pretty much nothing, but side note, Epps is somehow even more black in this one than he was in the last one.
We about to get our asses whooped.
There's this new character called Rio, I think, and like I didn't mind him at first, but for some reason he's in like the whole movie, and like that's when I started to really hate him, and he just flat out starts crying at the end of the movie. Now, by far the worst human characters in this movie are Sam's parents, and yet they're somehow worse in this movie than they were in the last one. The mom literally takes a marijuana brownie, eats it, and goes sicko mode. It's not funny at all, and it's just plain stupid. Okay, those are all the human characters I'll talk about. If there's any I left out, that means A, I forgot about them, and B, they're irrelevant. Let's move on to the actual Transformers. Every Autobot that was in the first movie is back, except for Jazz, cause that boy dead. There's Optimus, Bumblebee, Ratchet, who has less screen time in this movie than he did in the last one somehow, and Ironhide. All of them pretty much act the same as they did in the last movie, but for some reason Bumblebee can't talk anymore, even though he did in the last one. We do have some new Autobots, however, so let's talk about them. My favorite new addition is Sideswipe. He may not look like he did in G1, but he still looks pretty cool in my opinion. And like I said before, that one scene in the beginning with him was really cool. We finally got some female representation in the gang known as the RC Twins.
Follow us to the pillars. We'll take you to Optimus.
That's about it for the RC Twins. Then there's Jolt, who was probably written in the last minute into the script. This guy literally only does one thing and has put Jetfire's parts onto Optimus. Like, you probably saw the movie a couple of times and still probably didn't see him at all. He has no dialogue and there's no good pictures or shots of him at all. He's by far the most laughable character out of all of them. Okay, now so far, these new Autobots have been alright, but I have never seen two robots as bad as...
What are we gonna do with this shrimp taco? Just bump a cap in his ass, throw him in the truck, and then nobody gonna know nothing, not me. Not in my trunk.
Skids and Mudflap. Now, I'm not one to get offended over things, but like seeing these characters just makes me feel some type of way. They are the literal definition of a black stereotype. They speak slang, they can't read, Skids has a gold tooth, they're awful. Thank God they removed them in Dark of the Moon because Christ.
Be part of the landscape.
That's about it for the Autobots, so let's move on to the Decepticons. Megatron is back! Surprise, surprise, I know, but personally, I like this design way more than the first movie appearance. They gave him more bulk and an actual fusion cannon this time. This is probably my favorite movie Megatron design next to the Last Night one. Starscream is back and he still looks like a Dorito. But like I said before, I'm glad they fixed his personality and gave him more than one line to say. He actually gives off the vibe that he's a coward in this one.
Call you a coward, master, but sometimes cowards do survive.
The biggest slap in the face in my opinion is Soundwave. He literally does nothing but sit in space and hack the government or something. His design is so generic in these movies too. He looks nothing like his G1 design, and he's a lot of people's favorite Decepticon, including myself. Oh yeah, I almost forgot Blackout. Blackout is in a few scenes and... Wait, what? What? So, I just got news that the helicopter in Transformers 2 is not Blackout from the first movie, but instead it's some new guy called Grindor, but they just reused the same model as Blackout from the first movie. Michael Bay, I'm this close to just not watching any more of your movies again. It doesn't matter anyway, because Grindor dies too. Now, the worst character design in the movie by far is Devastator. I get that using his G1 design in this movie would kinda look a little silly, but come on, you could do better than that. Like, why does he have balls? Who decided to give him balls? Jetfire is alright, I guess. I mean, he serves his purpose and then dies. Like, I really have nothing much to say about him. The only thing that makes me question about him is like, how can Transformers grow old, and how can he just randomly teleport? I mean, I don't care, he's dead anyway, so. Now, the big bad guy Fallen is a joke. He was a prime that turned evil, I guess, but when your main goal is to blow up the sun, you aren't threatening at all, in my opinion. That's it, I'm done. I cannot talk about this garbage anymore. Ultimately, Transformers 2 is a terrible movie with some good parts sprinkled in there. I strangely recommend it if you haven't seen it yet, just to know what you're getting into before you watch it. Side note, I really enjoy the theme for this movie, which is New Divine by Linkin Park. It's personally my favorite song they've made out of the entire Transformers series. Rest in peace to my boy Chester, you will be missed. Well, that concluded my look back on Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. If you liked this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in 2 years for Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon.